I don't buy sample sprays anymore because the juice seems to evaporate fast. Maybe you found better spray bottles. That's a good question. I've never noticed samples evaporating. I don't really keep them for all that long, to be quite honest. But in theory, you're right. If you look at vintage bottles that have never been open of perfumes, like whole bottles, they're always empty, right? And that's because, the alcohol inside always ends up evaporating. I mean, there is, in theory, these are open, right? There's a little hole, so ethanol will always evaporate a little bit because it's volatile. So one way you might want to avoid this, if you want to have like a collection of samples, is maybe go for in like brands that have oils. Instead, it's a little bit heavier. It's a heavier carrier, and therefore it will not evaporate as quickly. And also, although we hate these are these dabber sample packs. They are actually really airtight, so that is likely to keep your perfume a little bit longer. The other thing is, you can probably look at some samples that are a little bit bigger. Here I'm comparing. So this the small one here is from Floral Street, which is the standard size, right? This is like a 1.5. And if you look at Ellis Brooklyn, they're like super generous in terms of their samples. They have like a whopping 2 milliliter bottle, which is very generous. If you look at the packs, you might want to look at companies that sell larger samples if you just want to keep a collection for a lot longer. But perfumes are made to be used. They do have a shelf life. You can keep them longer if you keep them in a cool place that is not too humid and away from sunlight. They'll last longer, but over time they will go bad. The materials will flatten a little bit and ultimately need to be thrown out. And for me, that's one of the appeals of fragrances in general, is that it's a fleeting aesthetic. So it's made to be enjoyed in the now and as soon as possible because in the future it will either disappear or go bad. For me, there's something very beautiful about that idea of the moment and how fragrances pulls you into the moment by their inherent qualities of being so temporary and also fleeting. But just circling back to trying to keep them longer, yeah, check out perfume oils. You can stay with the companies that have dabbers. A lot of like the independents do that. Use those dabbers and also look at perfume samples that are bigger, maybe those 2 milliliter bottles. Hope this helps.